Hello there. Let me
And
just make
also bringing
sure.
these toys into the home or
Okay. So, this is the final part, hopefully, of Gary and Phil's Deception of a Generation. It's been quite the journey, hasn't it?
advise them for the child is actually breaking a commandment of God and inviting curses upon the family. Is that correct?
Yeah, the Bible.
Can you point to the commandment, the 10 commandments, where God said don't invite curses onto the family? Besides, anyway, can you help it? Because a lot of curses usually happen as a consequence of something that you didn't know would happen. Few people actually want curses.
It talks about not taking counsel from ungodly counsel. But bringing a TV into your home is like taking counsel. And if you watch ungodly programs, you're taking counsel from ungodly counsel.
Shit, man, I'm getting counsel from ungodly counsel because this program's fucking ungodly.
Well, Phil, now I think a lot of this can even go back, if we might divert, back to some of the movies that have been coming out, like Star Wars and the Jedi, Return of the Jedi, and so forth. What is this creature we're looking at on our screen from?
Well, this is Squidhead. He's from Star Wars. And as you know, Star Wars told us.
Ah, yes, my favourite Star Wars character, Squidhead.
That the Force would be with us.
Oh, I always called him Anus Mouth, but okay, I'll take your word for it that he's called Squidhead.
And of course, the Force is a word used by witches down through the centuries to describe the power they received from Satan.
Oh yeah, those witches that use the Force. Yeah, those witches that are basically Jedi. Oh, there's a Star Wars character called Squidhead. Quarren or Squidheads, as they are sometimes rudely called. Oh, so that was actually a racial slur, Gary and Phil. You're actually supposed to call them Quarren. Next, you're going to be calling the aliens from District 9 prawns. You fucking fascists. I actually didn't know they were called Squidhead. Well done.
Characters like
That was probably on the box, to be honest. I'm giving them too much credit.
Darth Vader, who look almost exactly like the ancient Norse god Odin.
I'm sorry, what? Has anyone seen a depiction of Odin that looks like that? I mean, I've seen a few that are varying in, like, themes and qualities and differences. None of them look like that. I mean, I always thought that Vader was based off of, like a samurai, because his helmet shape really is reminiscent of a samurai, and it's been implied in the behind the scenes stuff, or even outright said that the whole Jedi thing is actually based on samurais and the samurai way and the samurai disciplines, and his helmet is that of a samurai to me. Like, especially the bottom bits, like where my mouse is right now. Darth Vader is not meant to be Odin. I don't know where the fuck they got that from. I think the closest character to Odin is probably Palpatine, because he shoots lightning from his fingers, and that's a stretch. That's like the best I can come up with as to which character's Odin in Star Wars.
And Obi-Wan Kenobi, and there's a form of witchcraft called Obi witchcraft, in which chanting Obi, Obi, Obi over and over again releases the power into the witch's lives.
Does Ewan McGregor give them this power? What the fuck are you on about, you dump truck of a human?
These were actually taken. This was taken from a Norse god who.
I don't even have words for the fucking stupidity on screen here. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I would say that you're both half-wits, but that would imply that together you would make sense. But you don't. You're like a quarter wit each at best. How do you see fucking Odin when looking at Darth Vader? I don't understand.
Very much like him.
It looks a lot like Darth Vader.
I wish we could go back one slide and look at that Norse god, but we can't go backward on these.
Did they even show the Norse god? I know for a fact that he doesn't look anything like Darth Vader.
Okay.
We're looking at Yoda right now, and Yoda was called the Zen Master. Of course, this was based on Zen Buddhism.
Oh no, it's based on a religion that's not yours. Fuck. I quite like that look that Yoda's got in his face. Even he knows how stupid this is. Stupid this is. Idiots you are. Creeps. Likely you are.
There's one force in the world, and
It was not God that told you that evil toys are taking over your life. It was the dark side of the Force. Idiots.
it can be either used for good or evil. And Yoda's called his Den Master. He's always seen with serpents around him or serpents around him.
Yeah, look at the serpents around his neck there.
It's because he lives on a swamp planet. And there's a lot of snakes. Because it's a fucking swamp.
He's a three-fingered, three-toed beast. So he has the 2 fingers and the thumb.
He's an alien.
Which, from my information, means Satan is Lord.
Right. Now, let's take it up right now with another creature by Steve.
Like, what? Yoda's a Satan. I mean, he's a master of martial arts. Like, they call him master because he's one of the best at what he does. He's very powerful and wise and capable of like impressive feats of combat, or he was in his youth. He's getting on a bit by the point of the movies, but even in the prequel trilogy, despite the fact that he's like the oldest council member, he's still quite old, but he's still got it. He's still capable of fighting, and he's still quite powerful and shit. And people look up to him because of his wisdom, experience, and power. That's not Satanism, you fucking idiot. That's more like respecting your teacher, which I'm pretty sure the Bible teaches as a thing.
Spielberg, I believe it is, from E.T., the extraterrestrial.
He's technically also a Star Wars character.
What can we say about him?
Well, E.T. smashed box office records in 1982 by doing $318 million.
That figure's weird. Like, partly the colour looks weird, but also just that whole thing. He looks like he's decaying whilst alive.
$318 million.
Yes, it was a camouflage occult movie, including levitation, psychic healing.
I mean, didn't Jesus do all that shit?
Mind control, mental telepathy, that type of thing. E.T. also included some inferences to homosexuality.
Fucking what? I'll be right here, Elliot. Touches his dick. Yo, bro, why don't swing that way? Shh, Elliot, it's okay. I'm in your mind. No, please don't make me gay too late. Fuck. What the fuck are you talking about, Phil Phillips, you fucking idiot? Where's the gay bits in E.T.? Has anyone else ever seen the gay bits in E.T.? I've not seen it for a while, but I don't remember thinking, oh wow, this shit's gay. How does he get gay from E.T. but not He-Man? What the fuck is wrong with him?
And within the movie.
Homosexuality.
Yes.
This creature, E.T., became like a lovable little toy that every child wanted to have in his home.
And have sex with, apparently.
And this is just one of many. Now, E.T., when you saw the little guy with healing power in his finger,
yes,
and levitation ability, and he just brought all of this into the mind and thinking of the children. Would we say that this is a plot to...
Well, I think one of the things they tried to do on this movie is to make people accept that there's more Christ than just one.
But E.T. isn't a messianic figure. He's basically lost and they're trying to send him home. He's not like... You fucking idiot.
Many times that the Hindus, and they believe that there's a multiples of Christ, and they come at different occasions at different times. And so I think that's what happened in this movie. It was
You weren't paying fucking attention. The plot of the film is that the fucking alien ends up on Earth and needs someone to send him home because he can't do it himself because Uber hadn't been invented yet because it was the 80s. You stupid idiot.
a falsification
Yo, Donald Trump wants his hair back, by the way.
of Christ coming to Earth and trying to get us to believe that, hey, you know, if E.T.'s an alien and he came down and he did all the things that he did and he died and was resurrected again, then what about Jesus? Maybe he was an alien.
I mean, maybe Jesus was an alien. Technically, he is an alien because he's not human and he came from space. But also, Jesus, like, actually had a mission on Earth, whereas E.T.'s mission was to get the fuck off of Earth. I don't remember the bit in the Bible where Jesus is like, Judas, phone home. Like, I don't remember that bit, but I might have nodded off during that sermon, so.
Well, with these aliens, also the cartoon shows are bringing these superheroes that come from other planets, like Clark Kent, who is Superman, and so forth. Can we talk about the superheroes for a moment?
Well, many of our superheroes have occult powers. We know that Superman's dead father speaks to him and gives him guidance. We know that many of them...
Aren't ghosts part of, like, religion? Like, I'm pretty sure in the Bible there are several points where, like, people talk beyond the grave. Also, the father speaking to Superman, isn't he as well, like, data, sort of, like, stored based on what the father would say to Superman? Like, it's not actually his dad's ghost from what I remember. It's more like a computer projection of his dad. I could be wrong because I'm not the biggest Superman fan, but I always got that impression that that's what it was meant to be.
Have other occult powers that they're involved in, and they're also seen with occult figures, as we'll see in some of these comic books that are coming up. Here's Wonder Woman. Now, she has occult powers herself, but you see these demons coming out of a fiery pit, and
she's trying to stop them.
She's involved with the demons.
No, she's trying to stop the demons, you fucking idiot. Also, Wonder Woman is an ancient Greek goddess. You actual idiot. Like, no wonder it's not Christian. It's not meant to be. It's based on Greek mythology, which is basically fiction. I don't understand how you can be this stupid. I really don't.
When you talk about Wonder Woman, here's one of the toys we bought of Golden Girl.
I didn't know Scarlet Witch was a DC character before she went to Marvel.
And all of these comics and cartoons are spawning toys that the children can identify with.
Yes, Golden Girl is a new series aimed at girls.
It's aimed at girls specifically.
Yes.
What gave it away?
The new action figure series.
Well, we thought we'd show that because a lot of the girls are now getting in on the action. What do we have?
Oh yeah, girls have been dying to get in on Satanism for years.
Here's the thing on the Scarlet Witch. Power Man and Son of Satan.
Son of Satan. Now they're getting kind of blatant.
But, okay, Power Man and the Son of Satan. You notice as well that the Son of Satan is the bad guy, right?
And this is the burning hand. Now, in the burning hand, we have a depiction of Jesus Christ crucified on a pentagram, a 5-pointed occultic star.
Is that Jesus Christ? It's kind of funny that you don't show what he's saying. He could actually be saying, hello, I'm Triple H and I've been crucified, please help, but no. Also, the villain did this, you fucking idiot.
Unbelievable. That is the star of Satan. The 5-sided star is a pentagram, and it represents the goat's head. And here it actually, you see the direction that the cartoons are going and the comic books. They're showing Jesus Christ as defeated.
Get the fuck out of the way, Phil.
And crucified by the occultic power.
What's he looking at?
I just can't believe this.
It is phenomenally blatant, and it is affecting children today.
Well, what else do
Except it's not, because this is all bollocks, but carry on.
we have on these occultic comics?
Well, we're starting to see violence within the toy series in a greater and greater way. Masters of the Universe averages 37 violent acts every half hour.
37 violent. They have to count them before releasing the episode.
Dungeons and Dragons averages 67 violent acts every half hour.
Really? That show looked pretty tame to me, but okay. Take your word for it.
The granddaddy on Mars, G.I. Joe, and which is also
It's about soldiers, you fucking idiot.
matched by Transformers, which does over 80 violent acts every half hour.
Yeah, but it's on robots, so it doesn't count. I mean, you could literally murder a robot in the most horrific way possible, and it would be a you. Like, the one that anyone under 8 years old can watch because robots die and not real people.
And in that, we compare that to very violent adult television television show which averages 4 to 6 violent acts every half hour.
Well, it depends on the show, though. Very violent. It depends. I mean, if I was to compare, say, Power Rangers to The Walking Dead, maybe seeing the Power Rangers fight more would be, I'd say, oh yeah, there's this many violent acts. Ninja Turtles as well, for example. I know for a fact there's actual fights in that. So let's say, for example, there's 3 or 4 violent acts. If I compared it to, say, Walking Dead, I mean, in your average episode, there's 1 or 2 violent acts against zombies. Game of Thrones, depending on the episode, there's usually 1 to about 100 violent acts. Whereas in your average episode of Ninja Turtles, because it's a kid's show, they usually try not to make it too dialogue heavy. So there is probably going to be a few violent acts on average more than in an adult show. But the violent acts in an adult show usually involve blood and carnage and innocent people being horribly hurt and shit, whereas a children's show is just going to involve a henchman getting kicked in the chest and falling over. So, I mean, for the most part, kids shows, even if on average there's more violent acts, the violent acts are probably very toned down compared to what adult shows have. I also want to know what adult shows you're comparing it to, because, I mean, for all I know, you could be comparing it to fucking Grand Designs or some shit. Also, what do you count as a violent act? A slap? Disemboweling, is that the minimum?
And a cartoon like Bugs Bunny Roadrunner, which averaged about 11 violent acts. I would like.
It's kind of funny because Phil originally wanted Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner to be held up as an example of great children's programming, and then fucking Phil. Sorry, I think I've said Phil when I meant Gary there. Gary wanted people to think that, and then Phil's just starts going on a rant about Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner, and he has to fucking be like, "Oh no, shit, I'm going back on my own word." Fucking idiot.
To say also that in the Bible, God says that he cast Lucifer, Satan, out of heaven because he was so filled with violence. And we know that...
Oh yeah, because you never find any fucking violence in the Bible, do you? God's people don't do violence. No.
In Hosea 4:2 it says, there is swearing, deception, murder, stealing, and adultery. They employ violence so that bloodshed follows bloodshed. I was absolutely amazed.
I mean, doesn't the Bible encourage that in several places? In varying degrees?
Recently when I went into the toy stores and I saw that there were...
Why were you going to a toy store? You're like 40.
Complete racks filled with grenades, rocket launchers, all kinds of knives.
No, that's Kmart you went into.
And guns and... I mean, squirt guns that are so occultic in that... are not occultic, but violent in that they depict real firearms used in wars. And
Occultic squirt guns. I like that. But squirt guns aren't really violent. They're just silly, but sure.
And I thought we would start today by showing you a clip from G.I. Joe. So let's go into a commercial of a G.I. Joe toy series.
You know, I would make fun of Gary not being able to get a sentence out, but I have those days too, so for once I actually relate to Gary. I too am an incompetent boob.
Introducing the leaders of the Crimson Guard, the evil twin brothers.
The Crimson Guard? Weren't they in Jack and Daxter?
Stomax and Sabot, and they're getting away in the Cobra Ferret.
Bastards!
With the G.I. Joe minigun.
Send Jack and Daxter after him.
Evil twin brothers sold together. Cobra Ferret, G.I. Joe mini tank, and Joe figures sold separately from Hasbro.
I always like how these kids always have like a little sand desert thing in the middle of the living room. Do you remember everyone else in the 80s having those? In the 90s? I had about 10. I had to throw one out because I had too many. Well, that was annoying. I'm not buying this fucking product, whatever it is. I don't care if it'll save my life. I'm sorry, what fucking ADHD riddled bastard directed and voiced this shit? God's sake, why would you fucking record your advert in an insane asylum, you daft twat?
Follow the exciting adventures of the Joe team 5 days a week as they battle the evil forces of Cobra. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Oh, you ran out of boxes. What are you gonna do now, you daft twat?
and Friday.
Oh, he showed me, I guess. Wait, why is Sean Connery in G.I. Joe?
It's the most exciting.
Well, Phil,
Wait, no, I was finally getting invested in that. What's the most exciting of?
we're watching these G.I. Joe commercials. Can't we say that they're also helping sell toys and even cereal?
Oh, no, we're not selling toys and cereal. Fuck.
Oh, yeah, the cartoons and the commercials are helping selling the toys and the cereal.
I think we ought to show the
That's what they're for, you idiot.
toy to start out today. You know, G.I. Joe years ago used to be a guy that wore khakis and was just sort of a soldier, but now he's taken on an occultic look, hasn't he?
What? Zartan, the enemy with the swamp skier. I mean, he's wearing a wetsuit type thing because he does jet skiing, you idiot.
Yeah, they're slowly but surely weaving in the occult, and mainly
What's occultic about it?
in the martial arts and different things.
Have you noticed they just say occult in the hopes that it's a buzzword that gets people pissed, but like there's no reason for it?
But that was in G.I. Joe.
Sort of a futuristic look as we see on this figure on our monitor here. He's taking on the look of the future soldier, so to speak.
Very much.
Oh yeah, it looks like RoboCop.
A lot of the movies are depicting that too.
I see a real
Well, yeah, because they're set in the future, you idiot.
trend toward what I call the barbarization of our children, where
What, you're making them into barbers? Fuck, an entire generation of Butch DeLoreas.
through these violent movies and violent cartoons, they're teaching our children that the way to handle problems is through violence.
I mean, it is, isn't it? Just threaten people with death, you get shit done faster.
And now, also the violence is helping sell cereal, correct?
Right.
Well, you shouldn't be throwing cereal like that, it's not a weapon.
And here we have a G.I. Joe cereal box, and what we're really concerned about is not selling cereal, though. We're concerned about the trend towards teaching the children to have violent attitudes.
Oh, yes. And we see things such as flat gum, that look like shrapnel coming
Well,
out.
now, wait a minute. Flat gum.
Yeah, it comes in a pouch, and it looks like pieces of shrapnel. In fact, I was listening to one commentator talk about the feelings within Russia, and he said that the Russians were more upset about this new trend in America, the children wearing the fatigues and being more militaristically minded than they were about our nuclear arms.
Okay, who said that? I imagine Vladimir Putin probably cream his jeans if he knew that there were a militaristic America ready for him.
Kidding me.
Yeah, very much so.
In other words,
So he is kidding.
this is a threat to Russia because they see our children being programmed to want to carry guns around and to shoot people and to rocket launch and so forth.
See, we don't need nukes. Just train all our kids to be school shooters, and then the fucking other countries will be like, don't fuck with them. Jesus Christ, they're a country of fucking nuts. I mean, they already say that when looking at America, but, these guys aren't very self-aware.
And that's what bothered me as I went through the toy store, seeing that parents were buying all of these occultic toys, from grenades to gum that you chew that's...
I didn't know that grenades were occultic. I just thought they were the army. Does that mean the army's an occultic cult? Is it a satanic cult? Do you have to, I've never been in the army. Do you have to, drag a knife across your hand and seal it with a blood pact before entering the army? And you have these little pentagram grenades. Is that what incendiary grenades are? Are they blessed with demonic evil magic that just set fire to things? It's not science, guys. It's actually evil satanic magic.
supposed to be shrapnel that... Yeah, here's a Rambo gun that we picked up at one of the stores.
I don't think that's a children's toy. I could be wrong. But... Wait, M16?
And, of course, Rambo is an extremely popular...
Why has it got, that prop thing for an M16. It's an assault rifle. You wouldn't have done that unless that's just to hold it up for the picture. I hope so, because fun fact, I actually knew a guy who actually served in the back end of Nam, and he said the M16 was like the shittest gun he's ever used.
Movie, but this is a squirt gun that's battery operated and squirts 30 feet. But
What happens if the batteries aren't in it and you fill it with water and pull the trigger? Like, does no water come out because the electric's not there?
that's not so bad. It's just that children get the feeling that guns are in now, that shooting.
How much do you want to bet that these guys did a complete 180 on this narrative and are all about guns now? I mean, I do have to admit, I think that America's gun culture when it comes to children is a bit fucked. Like, you read about every now and then, like, there's a family that has their kid pick up an Uzi or something at the shooting range, and then they empty it into a gun instructor, and I'm like, well, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? Like, they're so small that the power of the fucking gun's probably going to knock them over. I don't think a child needs to know at 4 years old how to operate a fucking automatic weapon anyway. I might be a bit archaic in my thinking, but I don't think very small children... And people have actually gotten really angry with me for saying that shit. They've been like, no, parents should be able to make their kids learn how to use weapons at a young age, god damn it. And, like, I think teaching kids guns is kind of a bad idea before a certain age, especially. But, like, I don't understand why you would give your 4-year-old a fucking automatic bullet spraying machine. I mean, honestly, I don't think I'd ever let my... If I was the kind of person who would do firearm training with a child, which admittedly I wouldn't, I'd just tell them about gun safety. I wouldn't need them to actually use one, but, you know... But if I was that kind of person, I wouldn't fucking have them hold anything under the age of 10, in all honesty. Like, because the kickback alone would be too powerful for anyone younger than that. Even with a handgun. It's fucking insane how these guys use guns their whole lives and still don't make that connection. Like, you know, your little 4-year-old cannot hold an M60. Fucking Dwight, no matter how fucking much you want it.
People is in.
You can paint it pink all you want, she's still not going to be able to use it.
Oh, they really are, and Rambo and other movies like this have glorified violence, and the hero never gets hurt. I mean, he's hardly ever...
Yeah, you know, like in that scene where Rambo doesn't get hurt and has to stitch himself back up again because he's been shot and a bunch of other things. I mean, the whole point in Rambo is that he's a guerrilla fighter, which means that he basically uses his, like, tactics to evade combat and uses it to basically take out the enemy when they're not expecting him. He doesn't get hurt as much as a combat troop probably would, because he's always hiding before, like, laying traps or jumping out at people or something. Like, you'll notice he gets hurt in the late movies, in the late action scenes, because he is usually using an M60 or, like, shooting them with a handgun or whatever, and he's actually in the war zone actually fighting in a skirmish, and that's why he gets hurt. Whereas in the earlier scenes, typically not, because he's, like, you know, doing his guerrilla warfare shit. Not to mention either that, whilst it is a bit silly, admittedly, like how he can take on lots of people and not get hurt, admittedly, in the movie's defense, Rambo as a character is actually a veteran. He's been doing this for a long fucking time. He lives it. And the people he's fighting typically aren't as well trained or as experienced as him. And in most of the movies, that's usually how it goes. They're either Viet Cong conscripts, or they're like... in the later movies, they're like private military guys and Mexican gangsters who clearly are not as well trained as he is. So yeah, like that's usually the reason why he can kill scores of them without taking any damage, because he is way better than they are. But the other thing as well that I find funny is that Rambo, they do make one good point. Rambo unintentionally glorified war, especially when you got toys trying to glorify what Rambo is. And it's kind of funny because Rambo is very anti-war as a thing. Like, ironically, the most anti-war movie kind of ended up glorifying war, because Rambo as a character he hates the fact that he was in the war, but he misses the war because he's nothing after the war. And it shows like so much that's wrong with both the Vietnam War and after the Vietnam War, and this generation where we were sleepwalking into the Gulf War, which was going to be a similar thing, which is more or less what Rambo 3 explores, even though it's not anyone's favourite, but that is what it tries to explore. And unfortunately, it's just it's just kind of ended up that everyone just was, oh look, guns and explosions, and no one really takes the message that it's actually kind of fucked war as a thing. It's a necessary evil at times, but it should always still be seen as an evil, and one that probably should be avoided is the message of Rambo, and unfortunately it gets completely lost in its marketing and fucking, toys and shit.
A real picture of war. And people say, well, the Bible is a violent book. But if you look at the Bible, the violence took place over hundreds of years, not...
What, did they slow-mo fist fight? Like, no, there is a lot of... Like, there are bits in the Bible where people get murdered, whole cities get murdered over the course of a night. There's bits in the Bible where mothers have to eat their own babies to survive. Like, I'm sorry, but G.I. Joe doesn't have that shit, so...
Such in a compacted 90-minute package with thousands of acts of violence.
Yeah, but you could read the Bible in a matter of hours. Like, you could read the whole Bible. I don't know how long it'd take the average reader, but I honestly don't know. I think you could probably read it cover to cover. If you started at 9 a.m., you could probably finish it by 3 p.m., I'm assuming. Both Old and New Testament. And you could get through a lot of violent acts before that.
Compacted 30-minute cartoon with 80 violent acts on the half hour.
Well, I think, Phil, as we're looking at this, we're seeing a trend that is leading towards what we now call our Transformer toys, which transform from a weapon to a robot type of creature.
Right.
And we're going to get into talking about robots and Transformers, but let's talk about some of the more innocuous things that are on the market that are leading into these things.
I like how nothing's safe. They're all occultic.
What could we call something like Smurfs? Is there anything occultic or dangerous about Smurfs?
Fucking commie bastards.
Well, Smurfs happens to be the most popular Saturday morning cartoon since the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner hour. It came...
Because it's inoffensive.
It's just entered into a long-term run, and it's hit an hour and a half on Saturday morning cartoons. But there are some things about Smurfs that we need to look at. First of all, you'll notice that they're depicted as blue with black lips.
Well, isn't that interesting?
And you know what happens to you when you die? You turn blue and your lips turn black.
In other words,
well, you heard it first. The fucking undead abominations.
these are depictive of dead creatures.
Right. And another thing is that Smurfs is an all-male community. And you say, oh, there's Smurfette. She's a female. Well, in one cartoon, she was depicted as transforming from a male to a female through magical power.
Actually, that's... apparently, they've got it wrong. Apparently, she had black hair and then it turned gold. So apparently, all you trans people that went through HRT and all that shit, you're all idiots. All you had to do was just dye your hair blonde and you would have counted as female. God. Fucking Phil. You're an idiot.
And so the only female in the Smurfs is transformed from a male. She was not born a female.
No.
She was. She wasn't technically born. She was constructed by Gargamel, but they turned her good. I'm surprised you didn't pick up on that and compare her to like Lilith or something.
What you're telling me then is that even Smurfs carry a homosexual connotation in that most of them are male.
I believe so.
But
Well, they're asexual. They don't have genitals.
we're not going to blatantly say that Smurfs are evil. We're just saying that they have all of these overtones that are...
We're not going to say that they're evil, but we are going to say that they're gay. I mean, Donnie Darko summed it up better. Like, the fucking Smurfs are actually, like, genitalless creatures of, like, nothing. And the only reason why a female one even exists is that Gargamel tried to more or less seduce them, but it doesn't really work because they don't have dicks. So, I mean, they did fall in love with her because I'm assuming they long for the companionship, but they can't bum each other because they don't have penises. Although I don't know if Smurfette has a vagina, because I don't really want to think about it, to be honest. I hate you two. You've made me think about fucking Smurf genitals, and I'll never forgive you.
leading that direction.
Well, let's take another look at Smurf. Because the Smurfs cartoon, the whole storyline is that the Smurfs get in trouble. And every time they get in trouble,
Bastards.
they run to Papa Smurf, who whips up a spell or an incantation to get them out. In fact, he said the name Beelzebub numerous times in the cartoon. And
Oh, cool. Could you give me an example? Because I'd actually like a clip of that.
he whips up this spell or incantation and draws them out of their problems through witchcraft. And then they have an enemy called Gargamel. Now, Gargamel, in a recent episode, I saw him draw a 5-pointed star, the pentagram, on the ground.
Right.
He lit
So he's a Satanist.
candles at each point, which is an actual witchcraft practice.
Is it though? Because I'm pretty sure that most of the ones you see on TV aren't real. I could be wrong, but most of it I think is a load of bollocks in it. And when you actually ask real Satanists, like, yeah, that's partly right, but no.
Started to dance inside the pentagram, chanting a magical chant. At that point, a book opened up across the room, and something left the book and entered his physical body, giving him power to levitate and to do battle against the Smurfs.
Because he's an evil wizard. Like that's his jam. He's an evil wizard who fucking casts spells because he's an evil wizard. And you'll notice the word evil is involved in the description of the character because he is an evil wizard.
Oh, no. So we can say that Smurfs has gone occultic.
Very much.
It was always quote-unquote occultic because the main baddie is an evil wizard.
Well, how about something innocuous like the
And that's why they're all gay, because occultism, I guess.
Care Bears? I say they're very popular. Well,
Yeah, but they're occultic because I saw one have a Big Mac.
Care Bears is very popular, and it was started by Hallmark Cards as a very innocent thing, and then they've licensed out, and some things have taken place in Care Bears that need to be talked about. And one of those things took place in the Care Bear movie.
if we could look at some slides of the Care Bears, maybe we could get an idea what we're talking about.
Now, this is in the Care Bear movie. Now, the little boy is an orphan, and he kind of goes to this circus, and he's being real mistreated. And he walks over to this table, and this book, a face comes out of it and calls him over and tempts him to open the book.
Right.
Yeah, because it's meant to be evil. It's like, oddly enough, evil characters and evil things in movies reflect the occult and Satan in the depiction, because those things are what we associate with evil to begin with. Like, especially on a basic level, and like I mean, you could subvert the expectation, but ultimately when you see an evil, like, occultic fucking wizard, like Gargamel, for example, you think, oh, he's the bad guy because he does satanic spells and lives in a cave and looks like Moses, like, let himself go.
He opens it up, and the face starts to talk to him and starts to teach him
Where did you learn to fly?
how to practice the occult.
In a Care Bear comic book?
Yes. And then he tries to go against the book, and again,
Actually, it was the movie, Gary. Pay attention.
you see the face coming out of the book. The occult book talks to him. Guide
It actually teaches him magical powers because he's useless, and it fucking teaches him how to be an actual mage. And then the circus actually likes him, so they treat him better. But then she starts influencing him and trying to make him evil because she's evil, and he sort of falls for it because he's like, oh well, everyone hates me and they only care about me because of this stupid book, so I might as well just do what it says. And then he basically becomes an evil wizard. That's basically the plot of the movie. I don't know why I remember that from watching the old internet reviews of the movie, but that is basically what happens in the movie, and it's like clearly a case of, warning us about the temptations of evil, but obviously that's not Christian of a theme. Nobody would ever fucking want to teach their Christian children about how evil can tempt us and how we should probably resist it.
Lead them. You see him here looking over a cauldron, and what he's looking over the cauldron, he's looking to see the children and see what they're doing. And at the
Oh, he's a nonce then. Okay.
end, the Care Bears, to take care of their problems, use the Care Bear stare, which is a power beam coming from the center of their stomach.
Can cartoons do anything without you fucking bitching about it? Can Superman fly without you crying, oh, it's some satanic ritual overtones?
Now, what I'm seeing in Care Bears, it's almost like they're setting up their own religion. That children are to tell these Care Bears their problems instead of telling their God or mom and dad. And they're to...
I mean, it's just about as effective if their God is your God and their mum and dad are basically you and Gary. I wouldn't tell you or Gary anything. I'd tell my inanimate teddy bear before you two. Also, your God murders babies, so I won't tell him shit.
Depend on the Care Bears to take away all their trouble. And then we see the occult coming in, too.
Care Bears, please take away Gary and Phil.
The cartoon series.
Absolutely. I wonder if we might do a cutaway to a cartoon video that we have showing some of the occultic overtones in even the Care Bears and the different types of series here.
We're
Put the villains through the occultic shit in Care Bears, you fucking idiot.
looking at the Littles.
The Littles? Okay, this is the Littles.
Oh, they don't have a cartoon clip of the fucking Care Bears,
We're
okay.
from the Care Bears to the Littles now.
Wait, he's... Oh no, he's a member of ISIS. Shit.
ISIS. ISIS. Rejoice, my people. After 4,000 years, the stars are in alignment. By tomorrow's sunset, our Pharaoh will return.
Oh no, the Pharaoh's Phil Phillips? Shit.
Well,
I like how it looked like a mustache and just...
obviously, as we're looking at Ices and the Littles, now who are the Littles?
Well, the Littles are little people. They're like little elves or something like that. And
They're like borrowers, basically.
supposed to be real cute,
Actually, I don't know if borrowers were there at the time. They're like Arietti, basically.
and this guy takes care of them, and they have a little land, where they live in.
And then he sits on it.
But as you saw in that clip,
That's actually what happens in the final episode, by the way. Spoiler alert.
something that is not based on the occult would bring in occult images through other things. So here they showed this pagan worship.
Okay, 1. The baddies were the ones doing the pagan worship. 2. They're ancient Egyptians. They are from a time before the Christian religion. So they couldn't be Christians because Christ didn't exist when they were around. Assuming, you're on board with the fact that Christ exists in this universe. They worshipped Egyptian gods because they are ancient Egyptians. You fucking spud. How are you not even able to follow this shit? My dad could follow this shit and he can't follow any fantasy shit, like at all, but he could at least grasp this. Also, why the fuck is there a little ancient Egyptian? Tutankhamun? What the fuck's that got to do with anything? The fuck if I know anyway, there's just a bit of interesting shit. Okay. Maybe it's his birthday or something, I don't know.
Well, and it looked very Egyptian to me. It looked like they were worshipping Isis, which is an Egyptian goddess, I believe.
Because they're ancient Egyptians, you fucking idiot.
And so we're looking at total evil occultism, paganism that's being taught to our children through these little innocuous cartoons.
But they're depicting ancient figures, doing ancient figure things. They're not telling anyone to fucking worship ISIS. They're saying that people worshipped ISIS and those people in this story have been alive for 4,000 years somehow. I don't know. It might tell you in the story, it might not. And they want to bring back their pharaoh. That's the story. Like, they're not telling kids to go out and worship a fucking Egyptian god, you idiot.
Now, go ahead.
In fact, one of the most innocent, if you could pick up that pony there, is one called My Pony. Now,
My Pony, yes.
My Pony.
now,
My Pony.
if you walk to a toy store
I don't do that often, oddly enough.
and you walk into that toy store and you see these ponies, they're cute. They're blue and they're purple and they're pastel colors.
I'd love to put one of them in the microwave and watch it melt.
And they're different ponies, and you notice they have like a rainbow colored in their hair, and they're just so cute.
Now, wait a minute. This is not a pony, though. This is a unicorn.
Right, a unicorn.
I mean, wouldn't a unicorn be a pony as well? Like, a pony's a type of horse, but you can have ponies that aren't horses, I'm pretty sure. Like, don't they have pony... There's another animal that they call ponies, but I can't remember what it was.
And the unicorn and Pegasus are used in this My Pony series.
Oh no, they have horses and they decided to do creative things with the horses. This should be banned.
And a combination of the two.
Also, the unicorns are from the Bible. There are unicorns in the Bible.
Now, both of those things came from
It's a pegacorn.
mythologies. The Pegasus came from Greek mythology, and the unicorn came out of the Black Forest of Germany and from that area and through the Dark Ages. Now, in one
And the Bible.
of the cartoons
He nearly said the Bible and then, like, tried to avoid saying it.
that featured My Pony. Now, this is
My Ponies. Can you at least know what the fuck show you're talking about? Maybe we should get Alan Titchmarsh on. Oh yeah, sure. So have you seen this game, these two games? Call of Duty and Modern Warfare 2? They're two games that are very, very occultic in the way that they do things. Blah, blah, blah. Violence.
supposed to be super cute, okay?
Yeah.
For little girls.
Okay. My pony's bad. Okay. It makes you bad. Okay. Makes you into a brony. Okay. You'll be 24, fucking jerking off to ponies for the rest of your life. Okay. You won't be 24 for the rest of your life. Okay. You'll just be mentally fucking 24 for the rest of your life. Okay.
So, we saw a pan, which is a half
A pan. As in like the thing you cook.
man, half horse. He had horns coming out the side of his
Technically, I'm a pan. Giggity.
head. A huge thing with an animated on his neck. And he kidnapped 3 of the ponies, and he's going to
That's impressive.
transform them to pull his
He picked up 3 horses. This dude sounds impressive. I want to meet him.
chariot of darkness, and he takes
He could be more creative with the naming, admittedly, but carry on.
open a bag and he says, "Look into evil."
And it's just full of copies of Deception of a Generation.
And out of that bag rushes a spirit power which transforms these 3 ponies into dragons.
I mean, he kept the whole of evil in a bag. That is also impressive.
Now this is
I mean, that sounds like a good deal as well. Like, you look in this bag and you become a dragon. Like, sign me up, Doc.
aimed at little girls and boys.
Again, can nothing have a plot? Like, can nothing have a plot without it being occultic? Did these idiots actually want to create a Marxist, not a Marxist, sorry, like a McCarthy movement where you have fucking people just constantly pointing at everything going occultic, and then just reduce cartoons to what they were in the 60s where nothing happened in them at all because, like, they didn't want to animate. Now it's just, we don't want it to be occultic, so, you know, we can't have anything that could be labeled as occultic. So it's about 2 stick men called Jerry and Simon who just stand there smiling at each other for 20 minutes. It's not occultic.
I can see that we're actually destroying our children by letting them watch even the innocuous things because they're all going that direction.
I'm pretty sure you've destroyed children by, I mean, honestly, I think religion has destroyed a lot of children. You scare them into being a certain way, which I think is actually worse for a child than anything else that a cartoon's done to them.
How about Rainbow Bright? This is another figure that a lot of children are into.
Again, Rainbow Bright is a very humanistic type toy. It displays many humanistic and New Age symbols within it. They also do use magic.
I thought humanism wasn't really a religion; it was more like a way of life. But carry on.
With inside Rainbow Bright.
Well, here's a Rainbow Bright cereal box, and
Oh my god, that is fucking evil incarnate.
I mean, what are you saying about Rainbow Bright?
Wait, 3 stick-ons inside. Jesus Christ, the most tempting thing since the Tree of Knowledge. 3 stick-ons in your shitty cereal.
Again, it's a humanistic emblems and humanistic values.
Well, the rainbow represents the
Gays.
networking of the New Age,
Right.
and it's
Oh, so it's all those fucking idiot Christians who were crying about the rainbow being stolen by the gays for pride. It turns out they're wrong. It's actually a New Age symbol that was stolen.
interesting that she has a little 5-sided star on her cheek. I don't know if you can see that on the box, but there's a little 5-sided star, and it's upside down.
Because all fucking stars have 5 sides. Like, all stereotypical stars have fucking 5 sides, you cock.
Which I'm not going to say it's used in this depiction, but that's a pentagram again.
Yes.
It's a fucking star.
And that's another New Age and occultic symbol.
You're an idiot.
So we have to be careful even with Rainbow Bright.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you just eat cardboard.
And the cute toys need to be looked at.
You know where there's no occultic symbols? Cyanide. If you could get yourself some cyanide, there's nothing occultic about the packaging on that. You could eat as much of it as you want.
We need to use discretion when we buy toys for our children.
Well, you do, because you fucking sneak into a children's toy shop and buy fucking He-Man figures because God told you to. So you have to dress up in your fucking trench coat disguised like a Ninja Turtle
Let's jump from
to avoid ending up on the register.
cute little toys into the robots and the transformers, as we call them.
The robots.
And I think what we ought to do is show a video cut of the robots and transformers. So let's come back after a short robot praise here.
It shows how good this is when he has to say, now we need to skip to a clip. Yeah, get the clip ready. Yeah, we need to cut to a clip. And the clip is...
Phil, who is this?
Oh, they've skipped that part. Maybe it's copyright. I think they have skipped a few things in the video, either due to being a bad skip on the video, or maybe it's a copyright issue, and when they were uploading it on YouTube. Doesn't matter too much, regardless.
Well, this is the
They might have had the Care Bear movie, but didn't show it on the video. I never considered that until now. My bad.
king of the land that they lived in. Now, he is dead. That's his ghost.
Ha, idiot.
Again, speaking in necromancy, where they're speaking to the dead.
Right, and he's giving them guidance, and he's finding out information
What a bastard.
and telling them where the keys are that will activate this Voltron robot.
Sounds like the plot to fucking Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. Carry on.
Now, Voltron is a robot designed to defend the universe. Again, everything is going to take care of the whole universe.
This is the toy then, the Voltron toy that we're going to be discussing right now. And we'll have another video clip in a minute, but this is the toy, Voltron, and before we come back from this little cut roll-in, I'm going to take him out so you can see a little more of what we're talking about. Some of you that are watching today might want to receive all the cassettes that cover the message that Phil's been sharing today, because we've dealt with everything
I'd like to receive those cassettes. I could have more of a laugh after this.
from occultic cartoons to toys to innocuous little figures to the new craze in comic books, and I'd like to make those available to you, as well as my cassette on Dungeons and Dragons, and we have some other little added bonuses today. So let me bring the announcer on right now, and he'll explain how you can get all these. Here's our announcer.
As you've been watching today's shocking interview, many of you may want to share this message with family and friends.
Well, I sure as fuck did, but not in the way you wanted me to.
Evil powers are trying to brainwash this generation of children, but the truth will set them free.
Turns out it didn't.
You can take that truth to them. Let's
You can take that truth and you can shove it up your ass.
pray that churches across the nation will rise up and expose this deception of a generation.
Oh, he said it. We will rise again. Oh, do you get the flower in the packet?
Today's interview includes materials taken and now offered in 3 cassette messages. The cassettes include Spiritual Warfare in Your Child and Deception of a Generation, both by Phil Phillips. The 3rd cassette is titled Dungeons and Dragons by Gary Greenwald.
It'd be funny if you like bought that thinking it was like a car boot and you thought that it was about like, you know, an actual D&D cassette tape for one thing or another. Maybe explain the rules. Maybe it's background music for a session to keep the immersion up. And it's just fucking Gary Greenwald talking shit for 3 hours. And you just put it on anyway during D&D. It helps you immerse your way into hell.
Bonus, The Eagle's Nest is including the book.
At the end of the campaign, when you go to hell and fight the Demogorgon, you can just say Gary talking shit in the background.
Breaking Spiritual Dullness and Barriers in Children.
Ah, it's lighting up. That's satanic. Burn it.
An outstanding expose of many of the evil deceptions being perpetrated on young people today. You'll also receive Phil Phillips' newspaper titled Child Effects, updating you on the latest occultic attacks on your children.
Stewardship of God's most precious gifts. Okay. That newspaper looks like shit even for something from the 80s.
To receive all 3 cassettes, the book, and the newspaper, simply request the Child
Do I get the flower? Throw the flower in and I'll think about it.
Deception offer and send any donation of $15 or more to The Eagle's Nest, Post Office Box 15,000, Santa Ana, California, 92705.
Oh, of course it's fucking California.
Again, request the Child Deception offer and send $15 or more to
Hello, I want the child deception offer. Sir, this is this is a fucking pizza off service. What the fuck are you talking about? I want the child deception offer. I'm calling the cops. No, please don't.
The Eagle's Nest, Post Office Box 15,000,
That eagle that lives there is going to be pissed.
Santa Ana, California, 92705. May the Lord bless you and your stand for righteousness.
Don't bless me in my stand, please.
And now back to Gary Greenwald and Phil Phillips.
Yeah, please save me from this idiot. And his child deception offer.
Now, Phil, we're talking about
By the way, doxed.
Voltron.
I hate it.
And can you tell us real quickly who Voltron is?
Well, Voltron is a combination of 5 lion robots into 1 large robot. Again, he's going to defend the universe. And
Oh, good on him.
and in this, they also have a witch within this cartoon, and there are a lot of occultic symbolisms within it, such as the stars and that type of thing.
Right. Well, let's go to another video clip that shows a little bit of Voltron and the witchcraft that's involved in these different cartoon segments. So here's Voltron. Well, Phil, there's no doubt that there's witchcraft here, and
I like as well how I didn't see the clip, and I know for a fact he's talking shit.
Voltron is very similar to what we call the Transformer series, isn't he?
Yes, this is one of many robot series. Some of them are sexually oriented. Some
Fucking what?
of them have no occult or anything.
Yeah, that's not what the go means in GoBots.
in it. The Transformers, I've not seen a cult in it yet, but it's an extremely violent show. And in fact,
And there's lots of sexual stuff.
it's the only violent cartoon that actually shows killing in it.
But it's robots killing other robots, so it doesn't count, because robots don't have feelings like us.
That
That makes them very sad.
I've seen. And as we'll see in the next clip, you'll see someone get shot and killed.
Let's go into a video segment of the Transformers. Let's cut away right now and see the violence that's depicted.
Yeah, violence.
Materials or energy?
Oh, we only store energy here.
That's just what I wanted to hear. Decepticons, attack!
Oh, fuck.
You can't do this!
Out of my way, fool!
Leave him alone! Ariel, no!
Oh, no.
You monster!
You monster! If I ever see my loved ones or colleagues or whatever they are get gunned down, I'm gonna do that. Just to dignify myself. What the fuck was that jump turned into whatever that was? You were fucking asking for that, you cock.
Deactivate the rest of them permanently! Then take the fuel!
Yeah, me and the boys attacking the fucking whatever. Ow! My nipple.
Well, Phil, not only is there occultic overtones here, but definitely
What the fuck occultic overtones are those?
violence and killing. And this could lead the children to think that killing is okay, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, the Bible one, you know, where it actually encourages you to kill people.
So what are we as parents? What can we do? What is our response?
You can shut the fuck up.
Well, the responsibility lies on the parents to train up their child, to guide that child. In fact, the word training in the Greek means to narrow the child, like a river flowing through a canyon, and that river is narrowed and guided in the way it should go.
So put them in a vice and then keep crushing them until they're narrower. Got it.
But you know who's really responsible for this? It's
You.
the people who are supposed to provide the spiritual priesthood within a family, and that's the fathers.
Bastards.
See, the fathers are commanded by God to be the priest of their home. But
Oh no, the people who own this house are coming home. Better wrap it up, fellas.
many fathers don't take that seriously. And if fathers would take that seriously and expect God
I mean, would you blame them for not taking this shit seriously?
to anoint them to lead their families and anoint them to guide their children in the way they should go and to bring about spiritual change within the home and to
You know what? If I was a priest and I watched this, I'd take off my little white collar and I'd fucking eat it.
eliminate the things that are going to hinder their children's spiritual walk, because they will be
No, officer. Phil Phillips told me to shoot this man.
held accountable for what happens to their children
Especially the
spiritually.
fathers.
Yes, definitely.
Well, the Bible says that God...
I thought you meant the priests. Okay, the fathers, like the biological fathers. Okay. I don't understand, like, what is supposed to do instead? Juggle their kids.
Part of the fathers to the children and the children to the fathers in Isaiah 54.
That sounded like a rap. Oh, yeah, to the children, to the fathers.
Do you have any scripture that would indicate the father's responsibility? I know we're told to put the word before the children.
Well, in Deuteronomy chapter 6,
Oh, good, Deuteronomy. There. If you want to make a really good point using the Bible, go for Deuteronomy, because, you know, it's not batshit or anything.
it talks about training up, teaching the child on a daily basis, speaking the word to that child as they
You're
wake
an
up in the
idiot.
morning, as they go along the way, as they
You're
go
too
to bed.
stupid to
And it
live.
goes so far as to tell us to put preeminence on the word by tying it to the wrist or to the forehead. We're not talking about that, but what
Okay, I'm going to tie the word twat to your forehead and make you live with it for the rest of your life.
the inference there was that the word of God is to take preeminence within our homes, and that we're to speak our relationship to the Lord, to our children. We're to tell them how God has interacted in our lives, how God has healed us, how God has brought us into prosperity, how God saved us and brought us.
Well, that'd be a quick conversation. Hey, kids, this is how God has helped us. Good talk. Let's carry on with our lives.
Out of Egypt type thing, out of the spiritual bondage that we were in. and how God can
Bondage, you say?
do that for the child. And that's what we relate to him. And we talk about our relationship with the Lord on a daily basis.
Yes. I think that right now we should really reiterate, you parents that are watching today, it is your responsibility. If you allow your children to watch these cartoons, if you allow them to bring these comic books into the house, if you allow them to have these toys or you buy them for them, you're going to be held responsible before God. God says not to bring an accursed thing into your house, lest you should be accursed as it is. These things are occultic, they're accursed. They teach the children to get into spells and to witchcraft and to serve demon powers, and demon occultic pagan religions are the mystic religions of the East are all propagated through this. And I pray in the name of Jesus today that any of you that have this bondage in your household, your children are rebellious and being drawn by these things, I pray in Jesus' name that God would break that bondage today. We loose it right now, and we put the blood of Jesus over you, your family, and your children. God bless you now from the Eagle's Nest.
Okay, I just wanted to let him say all that insanity before addressing any of it. 1, why are you smearing blood all over my children, you fucking freak? Get away from me. 2, what if my child watches these shows but doesn't do anything occultic? And 3, if God wants to put me on fucking trial for letting my kid watch Transformers, and I say this as someone who doesn't like Transformers, when I was a kid, I watched it and was like, what the fuck is the point in this show? And I never touched it again. If my kid likes that show and God puts me on fucking trial and like, thou shalt not let their child watch fucking Transformers, I will say, shut up, God, you're a fucking prick. That was... I would fucking have that conversation with your God personally and ask him what the fuck is he doing with himself that he's fucking crying about my 6-year-old watching robots fight in a desert. Like, what's wrong with you fucking people? I don't understand how you can be this fucking stupid and not be passed off as clinically brain dead. Oh, that's the end of the episode.
Thank you for joining us today for Eagle's Food. From
Eagle Foo? Oh no, it's occultic, it's martial arts.
the Eagle's Nest with Gary
What's
Greenwald.
at the end then?
This outreach of Eagle's Nest.
Oh, these are just like trailers.
Through your continued prayer and love gift. For a copy of today's message or a catalog of other messages by Gary Greenwald, please write to the Eagle's Nest, Box 15,000,
I kind of would like to write to the Eagle's Nest.
Santa Ana, California, 92705. That's the Eagle's Nest, Box 15,000, Santa Ana, California, 92705.
Doxed.
Join us again next time for more Eagle's Food from the Eagle's Nest.
And that's all she wrote. There's 15 minutes left of this, but it's some other thing. I might riff it later on because it's only 15 minutes and it might be funny. And if it's not, well, fuck it, I don't care. That was the end of Deception of a Generation. And as you can see, everything they said in that story, it all came to pass. And now we live in a world full of Satan-worshipping little shitbags that are trying to eat us when we leave the house. And if only we'd listen to Gary and Phil. If only. I'm sure there are a lot of people who grew up in the 80s and 90s wishing they'd listened to Gary and Phil before they did their first evil sacrifice, but not all of us were smart enough to listen to a man who commands the evil to leave your house and Jesus' blood to be washed over you. And that's why we're in the mess that we're in now. So anyway, that was funny. And hopefully I'll have some more edited content, like, you know, like the actual curiosity sakes that I've been fucking... Honestly, I've been struggling to fucking work on them for a while. So I was originally way ahead of schedule for Halloween. And I wanted to make a video for Halloween, and I wanted to make a video before Halloween, and I wanted to make a video like just before Halloween and then one on Halloween. And I went from way ahead of schedule to way behind schedule because I just burnt out and just didn't want to work on stuff anymore. So I'm going to basically get back into it at some point in November and try to more or less put something out there again, because I do enjoy making videos. It's just I feel like I did too much too fast for too long without a break, and I tired myself out. So yeah, hopefully I can get back into the swing of things for November and December. Doodles.
Welche Kiri heb abbrüchen.